So you probably heard about the Trayvon Martin case by now, and if you haven't, go look it up. It's kind of important. The gist of it is that in Florida, a dude named George Zimmerman shot an unarmed young black man named Trayvon Martin in what he claimed was self-defense. His story is that Martin attacked him, and in Florida they have a legal provision called stand your ground, which gives you the legal right to use deadly force if you feel your life is threatened. Let me try and explain this to you. Literally, if a person walks up to you on the street and pulls a knife and says, "Give me your wallet," you can shoot him in the fucking face. That's the law in Florida. Now, in all fairness, this seems like a good idea. Anywhere but Florida. Florida is full of some of the dumbest fucking mouth breathers ever. People that fucked up an election because they couldn't figure out how to punch a goddamn hole in a ballot. It's a place where they wear winter jackets when it drops below 10 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It's also the place that made Flo Rida famous, and the place where old people go to run out the clock on their life. Now, I'm not saying they're all fucking stupid, but let's look at the facts. In 2005, the year before the state enacted the Stand Your Ground law, there were 883 murders in Florida. In 2006, when they enacted the law, 1,129, an increase of 246 murders. The number hadn't been over 1,000 since 1997, which, by the way, is when Aqua came out with Barbie Girl. Is there a connection? I don't know, I'm just saying. Anyway, just counting the so-called justifiable homicides, in the first half of the 2000s, before the law, the average was about 34 a year. In the second half, the average was closer to 100. The problem isn't empowering people to defend themselves, it's empowering morons and pussies to defend themselves from what they perceive as a threat. I mean, being robbed at knife point, that's one thing. But did you know, under this law, if you're attacked in a bar fight, you can kill the person because you can just claim you thought your life was in danger? I don't know what kind of shitty bars they have in Florida, but here we have bouncers that break that shit up before it escalates any further than a few cuts or missing teeth. And you can't fucking carry a gun. Actually, why do these people have fucking guns in the first place? And that's a whole different debate for another day, because nowhere else in the world has the gun problems that the US does, and strangely enough, other countries don't just really allow their citizens to carry guns because some rotting piece of paper signed by a bunch of old fucks in wigs hundreds of years ago says they can. But of course, America's right because it's America. I was going to say that maybe in order to get a gun, your IQ has to be higher than the national average, but I don't think people with an IQ of 65 should be allowed to have guns either. So, they're having a task force look at this law. They'll waste a bunch of taxpayers' money jerking off for a few months and come back with a 100-page report that basically says the evidence is inconclusive and nothing will be solved. That's just how democracy works. It's a pretty good system, except for when it's not. As mentioned, Trayvon was not armed. He was holding a fucking iced tea and a bag of candy, threatening to Chris Hansen on To Catch a Predator, but not to anyone else. So if this stupid brain-dead fuck Zimmerman thought he was in danger, if he doesn't go to jail for murder, he should be at least sentenced to prison for being a dim-witted pussy who's scared he might be killed by a pack of Skittles in Arizona.